To get started, we're going to take 4 sheets of paper, and you want to pick the ones that have the most text in it. Anything with kind of gaps might end up not looking as complete. So we want to see all those letters in our flowers. It'll kind of make it look nicer. So we're going to go ahead and get started. This one has a lot of text. I'm going to make sure I use that piece. And we'll start by lining up the paper and folding it origami style. So we see we have a lot left over on the edge. We're going to go ahead and cut that excess off. So we have one piece, and now I'm going to go ahead and do that for the other 3 pieces. So now we have 4 pieces that we're going to use to start folding our flowers. You're going to take one triangle, fold it in half once. So now my edge is here, and I'm going to fold it in half again. And now my edge is right here. And you can even, if you need to peek and see, that's going to be majorly important, so take note. Again, I'm going to do that for the rest of them. And now we have our 4 pieces of paper folded, and we are going to cut them now to give us that beautiful rose shape. You want to make sure that you are on that part that is creased. You definitely do not want to cut on the other edge because it will not turn out well. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a heart shape out of this, or kind of like maybe an ice cream cone, so that when we open it up, it's a heart. Aw, happy Valentine's Day. And but when we open it up, it looks like a flower shape. So we do that first, and then we're going to trim off just a little piece from the bottom. That cut will allow us to fold our flower better. When we open it up, now we see it's a pretty little flower. And we're going to go ahead and do that for the rest of them. And every time we're going to make sure we cut along that one fold. Now we have our 4 pieces. They are all trimmed into heart ice cream cone shapes with the bottom trimmed off. Now we can open it up. And we're going to start by cutting off, I suppose, one of the petals. I'm going to cut off 1. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 petals on this one. And I'm going to put this other one aside. This one, I'm going to cut off 2 petals. Set those 2 aside. And now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The third one, we're going to cut off 3. Set that aside. So now I have 3 and 5. And this last one, we're going to cut off 4. We're going to set that one far aside. So now we have 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And we'll be able to start gluing our petals. It's very helpful if you have a hot glue gun. If you don't, no worries. You can use regular glue. It just might take a little longer for the flowers to set up, but that's okay. So I'm going to start by gluing one petal on the end, taking my furthest petal and crossing it over. Just line it up and push it in place. There's my first part. I'm going to go down to the next one, this one with 6 on it, same exact thing. I crossed the last petal over the one I glued. Makes little cups, and so forth. That one did not line up as pretty. That's okay. When you get down to these ones with just a few petals, it definitely gets harder to maneuver. And for these, you can even use a pen if you want. Or a small paintbrush end or stick, whatever you can find that might help you wrap these a little easier. And this last one is by far the hardest. Definitely gonna need a pen. Yeah, and this one I'm gonna actually add a little more glue too. Make sure it stays. This one doesn't even want to stay that well. Okay. Now we're gonna kind of curl the ends of each of the flowers. You can use a pen or again a paintbrush, whatever you have. But this is going to make it look like that flower is just starting to open. It's okay if it rips the paper a little bit. So I think I have a little rip there, but it won't be very noticeable. You're going to do this for all of these flower petals. Now that we have them all rounded, we're going to go ahead and put them together. So I'm going to take I have my petal width, which I guess is now 6. It was 7. My largest petal. I'm going to take the one next step down and put glue all around it. And be careful with your fingers because, of course, well, if you're using hot glue, be careful that the heat does come through the pages. Again, I'm going to take my next step down. You can see it's starting to look like a flower already. And then again, the next step down. Just keep inserting. A few more. And finally, that last one. And voila, we have our book flower. If you wanted those scrap papers that we had cut off from the ends of the bigger sheet, you could again use those and fold them in half and make smaller flowers with the same exact process. So you'll have some bigger and smaller if you would like, but you should have enough paper to do at least 3 large flowers, and then if you wanted 3 small flowers. So you can use your flower as is. You can glue it or stick it onto a gift box or bag. But if you want, we also have some sticks included that you can turn it into a stemmed flower to put in a vase or do what else you might want to with it. So to do that, you're gonna take your glue. Again, hot glue works best for this, but you can use regular glue. I'm gonna glue the end of my flower and put the stick onto it as best I can because the way we assemble the flowers, it doesn't leave much room. But I'm not going to be too concerned about how getting it on like that. I'm going to take some of the scrap paper from what we cut off, and I'm just going to cut a strip of it and put some glue on it, and then start wrapping it around to hold that stick on. Looks a little sloppy, but you kind of use your glue to fasten it. And then I'm just gonna cut some little angled cuts. It kind of looks like the bottom of a rose then, but it looks a little neater. And then you can use it for a vase. So there you have it. I made a large one and a small one, so you can see what they end up looking like. And I put the stick on and just kind of covered up the ugly part with some paper. Plus it also helps keep it stronger. Now you can share them with a loved one or decorate with them or do whatever you would like. And we hope they bring you a very happy Valentine's Day.